The Tudor court was a stage for ambition, intrigue, and desire. It was a place where power plays and secret alliances were the norm, and every move was watched with keen interest. None, however, burned as brightly or tragically as the love affair between King Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. Their relationship was the talk of the court, a mix of passion and peril. Their scandalous romance challenged the very fabric of their world. It toppled ancient traditions. It shattered religious norms. It was a union that defied the expectations of their time. It forever altered the destiny of England, setting the stage for a new era of change and conflict.
I was a king accustomed to getting my way, but I found myself ensnared by Anne's allure. Her charm was unlike anything I had ever encountered. I was a man used to obedience, to having my commands followed without question.
And I was a woman of sharp intellect and even sharper wit. I knew how to navigate the treacherous waters of the court. I refused to be just another royal mistress. I had ambitions of my own, dreams that went beyond mere titles. I craved the crown and the power that came with it. I wanted to be more than just a footnote in history.
Their affair, a whirlwind of clandestine meetings and whispered promises, ignited a firestorm. It was a romance that could not be contained. It pitted England against the papacy, creating a rift that would have lasting repercussions. It divided families and friends, causing rifts that would take generations to heal. This was a love story destined for tragedy, a tale that would be remembered for centuries. It was a tale of passion and ambition, duty and defiance, love and loss. This is their story, a story that changed the course of history. Catherine of Aragon, once a vibrant princess of Spain, had become a shadow in Henry's eyes. Their marriage, once a symbol of political unity, had grown strained. The years had passed, leaving Catherine weary and unable to produce the male heir Henry so desperately craved. Each stillborn child, each lost hope drove a wedge between them.
I am devout and proud. I cling to my faith and my position as queen.
Henry, however, was a man consumed by the need for a son. He saw the Tudor dynasty hanging precariously in the balance. Henry's gaze began to wander, searching for a solution to his dilemma. He sought solace in the arms of other women. His dalliances were numerous, his affairs an open secret at court, yet none of these fleeting encounters could provide the answer he sought. Then Anne Boleyn arrived. Anne Boleyn was unlike any woman Henry had ever encountered. She was not a delicate rose, but a wildflower, vibrant and strong. Her dark eyes sparkled with intelligence and ambition. Her laughter, like her wit, was sharp and captivating.
I spent my formative years in the sophisticated French court. I returned to England imbued with a sense of style and a mind of my own. I possessed a magnetism that drew people to me. It was a potent mix of confidence and charisma.
Henry, accustomed to compliant women, found himself intrigued by her resistance.
Anne refused to be my mistress. She would not settle for fleeting moments of passion. She demanded respect. She desired more.
Anne's refusal only fueled Henry's desire. He was a man used to getting what he wanted. He would possess her, whatever the cost. Henry's infatuation with Anne quickly blossomed into an all-consuming obsession. He showered her with gifts and attention, composing love letters filled with longing and desire. He saw in Anne the possibility of a new beginning, a chance to secure his legacy.
The whispers started spreading through the court like wildfire. My love for Anne was no longer a secret. It was a scandal that threatened to engulf the kingdom.
Yet, Henry remained undeterred. He was determined to make Anne his queen. There was one insurmountable obstacle: his marriage to Catherine. Desperate for a solution, Henry sought an annulment, claiming that his marriage to his brother's widow was cursed in the eyes of God. The Pope's refusal to grant the annulment only fueled Henry's rage and determination. He would defy the Pope himself to be with Anne. Section 5. Whispers of Love and Defiance. Theirs was a courtship shrouded in secrecy. Clandestine meetings took place under the cover of darkness.
Love letters filled with longing and coded messages were exchanged through trusted intermediaries.
Anne, though deeply in love with Henry, remained cautious. She knew the fickle nature of his affections. She had witnessed the fate of his previous mistresses.
I would not be discarded so easily. I encouraged Henry's defiance of the Pope, seeing it as a way to secure my own position.
Anne was a woman of ambition and intelligence. She understood the power she could wield as Queen of England.
Our love story was a dangerous game, played against a backdrop of political intrigue and religious turmoil. The stakes were higher than either of us could have imagined.
Section 6, A Kingdom Divided, the Schism. Henry's love for Anne ignited a firestorm that would consume England, altering its course forever. His break from the Catholic Church was a seismic event, sending shockwaves throughout Christendom, challenging centuries of religious tradition.
I declare myself supreme head of the Church of England, severing ties with Rome and plunging the kingdom into religious turmoil and uncertainty.
Families were torn apart, loyalties tested, and friendships shattered. England was a nation divided, with some embracing the Reformation and others clinging to the old faith, creating a landscape of conflict and change.
At the heart of this turmoil stood I, Anne Boleyn, a figure both revered and reviled. Demonized by some as a temptress, a witch who had bewitched the king, and accused of dark sorcery. Others saw me as a symbol of progress and reform, a champion of the new faith, and a beacon of hope for change.
The weight of a nation's destiny rested on Anne's shoulders, a burden both heavy and profound. She had won the king's love and defied the Pope, challenging the very fabric of society. Now she had to secure her position and her legacy, navigating the treacherous waters of the Tudor court. Anne's coronation was a spectacle of unparalleled splendor. She was crowned Queen of England on June 1st, 1533, in a ceremony filled with both joy and trepidation. Her enemies watched closely, waiting for her to stumble.
Yet I carried myself with grace and dignity, the embodiment of Tudor majesty, my dark eyes shining with triumph.
But beneath the surface, shadows lurked. The joy of her coronation was short-lived. The pressure to produce a male heir was immense. Anne suffered miscarriages, each one a crushing blow to her hopes and a reminder of her precarious position. Her enemies, emboldened by her struggles, whispered against her. They spread rumors of witchcraft and adultery, hoping to poison Henry's heart against her. The birth of Elizabeth on September 7th, 1533, was met with mixed emotions. While Henry had longed for a son, he doted on his daughter.
I knew that a daughter would never be enough to secure my position.
The pressure to produce a male heir intensified, casting a dark cloud over the once passionate relationship. Henry, frustrated and disappointed, began to distance himself from Anne. His gaze, once filled with adoration, now held a hint of resentment.
Desperate to regain his love and secure my future, I found myself walking a tightrope. Every smile, every word was calculated to please the king.
But the cracks in their marriage were growing wider with each passing day. The birth of a daughter, once a cause for celebration, had become a curse. It had sealed Anne's fate and set in motion the wheels of her downfall. Anne's enemies, sensing her vulnerability, closed in. They accused her of adultery and treason, weaving a web of lies and deceit. Henry, consumed by paranoia and fueled by the whispers of his advisors, turned against the woman he had once loved so passionately.
I was arrested on May 2nd, 1536, charged with adultery, incest, and plotting against the king's life. The charges were absurd, fabricated by my enemies.
Yet Henry, blinded by suspicion and anger, believed them. Imprisoned in the Tower of London, Anne faced her fate with courage and dignity. She maintained her innocence, proclaiming her love for Henry until the very end. But her pleas fell on deaf ears.
On May 17th, 1536, I was beheaded on Tower Green, my life cut short by the man who had once vowed to love me forever.
Anne Boleyn's story is a tragedy, a tale of love, ambition, and betrayal. Her life was marked by her rise to power and her sudden, brutal fall. She was a woman ahead of her time, a woman who dared to challenge the status quo and paid the ultimate price. Her courage and defiance were unmatched. Yet, from the ashes of her downfall rose a legacy that would shape England for generations to come. Her spirit endured through her daughter. Her daughter, Elizabeth, would become one of England's greatest monarchs. Elizabeth's reign was a beacon of hope and strength.
I, Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen, inherited my mother's intelligence, strength, and determination. I carried forward her legacy with pride and resilience. I ruled England for 44 glorious years, ushering in a golden age of peace and prosperity. My reign was marked by cultural flourishing and national strength.
Anne Boleyn's memory lived on in her daughter. Elizabeth's reign was a testament to her mother's enduring influence. She became a symbol of courage, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit. Elizabeth's legacy was a continuation of her mother's dreams. Though she was silenced, her voice continued to resonate through the ages, a reminder that even in death, hope and legacy can bloom. Anne's story was far from over. Anne Boleyn's story may have ended in tragedy, but her legacy, like that of her daughter Elizabeth I, would continue to inspire and captivate for centuries to come. Their stories are intertwined, forever etched in history.